It's time we start dealing with the business at hand. I'm obliged to give you a thorough interrogation, so you're going to tell me everything you know. Well, your blood will.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone out there in TV land. All right. TV land. Right? What's that even mean? I never understood that. TV land. Everyone out there in TV land. Wouldn't TV land be the actual world they're in? Not the. Or would they call themselves TV Land? I remember there was a channel that Because Nickelodeon used to have something called Nick at Night, and Nick at Night would just show old, before Adult Swim and all that came around. They used to just show a bunch of old like stuff like Leave It to Beaver and all kinds of weird old shit like that. It was called Nick at Night, or they would show old movies. And oh no, Adult Swim was Cartoon Network. I'm stupid. Yeah. So anyway, Nickelodeon had Nick at Night, and I think that branched out into a channel on cable. I don't even know if it's still around, called TV Land. And TV Land was just a bunch of old syndicated shows or whatever, just running 24/7. The only time I ever watched it is when they would occasionally have stuff like Twilight Zone marathons, which I love myself some Twilight Zone. I'm never gonna shit on that. So, if I remember correctly, they used to say, "Hey there, Don. Hello, everyone out there in TV Land." I think that's what they said. They wouldn't say hello out there from TV Land. Or would they say from TV Land? Or maybe I'm misremembering this. If anybody knows, TV Land like that Angel Bunny? TV Land? Oh, no. But that's interesting. But no, it's just there would be like, you know what? Now I'm wondering. Now I don't know if I have it switched. I could have swore I remember old shows having a host and calling the world outside of their show TV Land. Maybe like I said, maybe I'm misremembering. I'm not entirely sure. Is the music too loud, by the way? Let me lower that a little bit. There we go. I think that's better. Okay. Well, we got a few of you here. Let's see who shows up. Couple of you. Hey Shadow, I see you're on. You gonna be hopping on this one? There's definitely gonna be a subject that you're gonna be interested in, because I know you have a certain relationship with music yourself. In an ARAM at the moment? Alright, well, whenever that finishes up. Hey Trudy, how's it going? Trudy, one of the best subscribers, because she counts as multiple subscribers. Isn't that right, Trudy? Isn't that what you said? You technically count as multiple subscribers. Oh. Trudy. There you go. You should be the DID representative. You would be sweet at it. They'd be like, wow, are all people with DID this cool? Nice. There you go. You could be a spokesperson. Start your own channel, Trudy. DID Angst. You know? Tell your stories. Tell them how you feel the world around you. Alright. Or lack thereof at times, right? Alright, okay, cool. There's definitely a few of you here. Your friendly octopus. Yes. Indeed. Alright, cool. So, now that there's a few of you here, if you stare in long enough, you disappear into TV Land. Ooh, some creepypasta fun. TV Land, take me. But, what I wanted to talk about today is music. And I wanted to talk about, more specifically, the Schizoid peeps' relationship with music. I don't mind if it extends into just like neurodivergency and music. That's interesting too. But as usual, on Saturdays, I have submissions. I had posed a question on the Schizoid server, the Zoid Void. If all of you are probably familiar with that, hopefully. If you're not, might be want to check it out. It's on Discord. And people submit answers to a question that I post. And those answers go into an inbox that only I have access to, no one else. And I anonymously read those answers. Let me see here. One second here. And the question that I put forward, in this case, was as follows. What is your relationship with music? Is it a pastime? Is it something you use to feel stuff by proxy? Are you indifferent to music? Explain what kind of music if you can describe it. You do not have to. And any relevant details. So, I just kind of want to know a little bit about how the Zoid peeps on the server, how they engage with music, considering, all the fun stuff like feeling kind of disassociated from oneself and lack of cohesive identity for many years of their life. Maybe that's something they're still working on. Many the anhedonia kicking in, depression, anxiety, all the cool stuff that comes with being a Zoid, usually in one shape or another, to certain degrees or others. I want to know what that relationship with music is. Right. So, in my case, and I usually like to talk about a little bit about myself in regards to topic at the beginning, and then I move it on over to the submissions. By the way, hold on a second here. To any of you that are out there listening, please, we still need some seats filled for the Schizoid. That's the work me and Joanna do. It's very odd. Every time we've done setup sessions, we usually can fill the seats. This time, we're having some trouble. So if you are thinking about something, if you've been thinking, you have some extra money to work on something and do some coaching, Gestalt stuff with me and Joanna. She's certified and all that. And we basically, it's a coaching support group for Schizoid specifically. And we talk about our shit openly and challenge some of those things as well. So if you're interested in something like that, please check it out. And the link should be in the description. If not, I'll post it and I'll move on. I had to shill that because it's important to me. Really, really goddamn important to me that I help folks. Because the thing is I don't want to just be. And by the way, it does cost money. Okay, so but there is a wait list, and just check out the site if maybe you can in the future or something. I don't know. But point is, I need more practice dealing with. Well, I've had plenty, but I need more practice dealing directly with groups of schizoids, like in a more, not IRL, but in a more sort of visceral, engaged with, face-to-face kind of way. And that's giving me a lot of experience, and it's just gaining me a lot of ability to develop. Okay, that's enough of that. So, my relationship with music has always been kind of a very, very potent one. Not when I was young. This is what's so interesting. When I didn't really get into music in general until I think I was, let me think, probably like 12, or maybe 13 or 12, like something like that. Right? I'd say like 12. It was more middle school, I think. And I just didn't care about it very much. I did always get songs stuck in my head all the time from the video games I played. And I remember I would remember each and every part of the song and where the song would repeat, the background music for a stage or level. And I would just hum it to myself. And I would know the entirety of it. But the music itself, since it had no lyrics, and I would just hum it to myself. And I had multiple like this, right? And then sometimes I get caught just humming the songs or making little sounds. Hey Lucas, I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Welcome. And that was about it though. I wasn't listening to I didn't know about musicians. I didn't really know or got into that stuff until I was a teen. And in fact, I don't think I knew much about anything associated to the media and stuff I enjoyed. I read a lot of books and things, and I never cared about who the author was. It was not an intuitive thing for me to want to know about or care about until, like I said, I got older. And with the music, I can't quite remember when it kicked in, but I think it was because at the time I had cable in my family's house, and there's MTV back when MTV was actually kind of interesting. MTV, prior to what many of you Zoomers know what it is, wasn't just a reality show ridden just borefest. It was actually just a channel where they literally just showed music videos all goddamn day. And because it was pre-YouTube, pre-internet for the most part, that was the only real way you could see music videos. It was on MTV. And you never, it was sort of like the radio. You didn't really get to choose when your video came up that you liked, right? So you would have to kind of have it on in the background. And then sometimes a video of a band or song you like would actually pop up. And that was kind of just like its weird own little exciting thing. And I remember the reason I got interested is because I would stay up. I wasn't supposed to, but I would, stay up in my room and have the TV on. And usually at night is when they would show the more racy videos. So stuff that had probably the weirder videos, maybe videos that had violence in it. A lot of the harder rock stuff would show up at night, right? And so, that's when I started discovering, because like I said, that was the only real way. I didn't really like listening to the radio because I was a very visual person, so I needed the visuals. And that is at that age when I started discovering a lot of different bands that are quite popular now, especially, but like, things like Nine Inch Nails and Radiohead and a bunch of the new metal at the time period, right? Slipknot and so on. That was later. Korn, and the Korn didn't ever really consider themselves new metal or whatever. And just a bunch of the sillier stuff like back then, like Kid Rock and whatever. That's more into high school later, but point is, that's kind of how I found my discovery of it, and I was just so intrigued because it was like a lot of the videos were just visceral and strange. Like Bjork videos were just really odd and surreal, and I really enjoyed that, right? Because it didn't look, the music videos didn't look like what I would regularly see on television, right? Because I was the only thing I watched as a kid on TV, or ever watched even at that point, was cartoons. And usually if it was a cartoon I liked, I would record it so that I would later play it off of VHS tape so that I wouldn't have to watch commercials. Like literally, like if I liked the show and I wanted to rewatch it, I would have like 4 or 5 tapes with the various episodes. And then I would be like, cool, now I can just play these tapes and watch the episodes again. But not have to, because I would stop recording at the commercials. So I would stop, and then I would start, and it would be a commercial-free experience. It's pretty funny. I did custom commercial-free experience of stuff, and it's what I would do with movies, because they would kind of cut little parts of a movie out, but there would be commercials between the network television viewing of something. So I would record it, and then stop it and record it, and then I got pretty good at it to where there wasn't much of there'd be a quick black screen or a very small snippet, and then it would just it would almost, sometimes it was seamless, it would be oh, it's like it cut to another scene, right? And so then I would have the full movie on a VHS tape that I would write the movie down, and it wouldn't have commercials, and I would be very happy about that. Anyway, the things we had to do is pretty crazy. If you just go back about 23 years, I would do that with music. So when I would listen to the radio, it'd be at night, because that's when they would play all kinds of weird stuff. And if I heard a track was coming up that I liked, I would do the same thing. I would record and stop it, time it. I would listen. I would be intently sitting there waiting, and then I'd stop it. And that way I would have a playlist of songs. And even though it was on the radio and my parents, couldn't afford to or didn't want to give me the cash for what were very expensive tapes back then, that's another way I would create my own little playlists and of music that I felt I was discovering. Right? Because now it's weird. Now you can't really say as easily oh, I discovered something, because everyone's right. The internet just makes everything discoverable in many ways. I feel like the internet, and I sound like an old man when I say this, but I feel like the internet did cause a lot of wonderful things. Like I wouldn't be able to do this or any of that, but there's also a couple little things that I kind of think like, wow, that was like a good experience, right? That was a good experience of having to like really dig in and put an effort into my hobbies or my interests. Like I had to like sacrifice time and energy to get the music that I wanted to listen to, right? Or watch the films, or I had to actually work at it to get the things, right? Now there's just just all there, which is again a very cool thing as well. But I don't know, that experience was kind of neat, I would say. Um, it's sort of the similar thing with the lack of CDs and cartridges and physical mediums for video games, right? The actual process of collecting it, this excitement of having the physical copy, getting home, putting the disc in, watching it load up. It was kind of like that was actually part of the experience itself, right? It's interesting. Anyway, rambling on too much here. Don says, definitely connects me to my thoughts, emotions by proxy, social consciousness, etc. Old Sabbath, Dio, Stargazer, Queensryche, hell yeah, Queensryche, Evanescence, Far Cry from my initial Jackson Brown. Oh, dope. Yeah, and yeah, so my eventual relationship with music was just, it was the emotion by proxy, because I always felt kind of numb to everything outside of me, right? I often felt kind of dissociated from my feelings, and for obvious reasons. If you're schizoid, you know what I'm talking about. And I knew I had feelings. I knew they were all in there somewhere, and they were deep, and in my case, they were potent. They were powerful. I had a lot of anger and sadness, and sometimes some joy, but it was there and it was strong. But I had no way of getting it out of myself so that I could experience it outside of myself, to hear it outside of myself. And music allowed that. Music gave me that opportunity. So when I was, a teenager, and I'm listening to something like Broken by Nine Inch Nails, listening to that album, I was younger, so I didn't quite grasp the gravity of some of the lyrics and stuff. I didn't even have access to the lyrics themselves. Sometimes a lot of tapes wouldn't even come with a lyric book. The actual little cover on a cassette tape is what you would take out and unfold, and oftentimes it would have lyrics or the CD booklet, But sometimes some bands just didn't have lyrics. I don't remember if that Broken did, but I don't think it did. But point is I would still be able to hear these words, this anger, this ferocity, this this madness, caught on tape, and it would allow me to like get all that aggression and all that frustration and all that sorrow out, right? Feel it, because I couldn't really feel it without it. It was really, really difficult. And I think it really helped me, because if it weren't for music and its ability to do that for me, I think I would have turned into a very not good person. I think I would have. I think it would have been very bad for me. Very bad for me, and probably bad for the people around me. So that's why I'm glad I had music in my life, because if there's one set of emotions that I never had too much trouble connecting to, it was internally, at least, was anger and resentment. And music gave me like an outlet to expel it out of my body, to exercise the rage out of my body through fantasy and aggression and aggressive thoughts that would essentially, or listening to really harsh music and playing a violent video game or something. It would just be a method to sort of exercise it. from inside me, because if I didn't use these mediums, it would just stay trapped in there, suffocating me. So yeah, I just wanted to express that. I've been a weirdo with music in a lot of ways. Just the subject mentioned has opened doors in my head, include a moment in time when it was totally off tap. I was even taking the first song on the radio when I woke up and letting it be my prediction for the day. Nuts. That sounds kind of fun. Anyway, I'm before the internet. My music style was not mainstream. It was hard to find. Yeah. It's funny because like once those doors opened for me when I was young. It just basically turned into like more and more discoveries, and the more I discovered, the more I kind of understood what my taste is, and what it is that I gravitate towards. And I have a very eclectic palette. It's just it's whether I can vibe with it or I can't. It's as simple as that. I don't really compare too much music to music too much. Like I don't really care to. I just go, okay, is this good? Is this entertaining? Does this capture what it is, the essence of something that I can tap into? Does it? Yes. Does this thing do it in a different way or the same way? Same way, different way. It still does it, so that's good. It's fine. Yeah. I think music is merely a something to be used as a catalyst for what's actually there, what actually matters. And what actually matters, in my opinion, is not the music itself, though it's important on its own regard. It's what it can evoke, and its power to evoke. So I think that's part of the reason also I never really got interested in musical as on a technical level. Like I never cared to know how a guitar functions. I never cared to know how whatever instruments, brass instruments, go on. So I didn't really care about knowing how to play any of them. It never interested me. I just wanted to hear them, and I knew there will always be humans that will play them because they're just so good at doing what is important, which is outing internal emotion, projecting it out into the world in a almost tangible manner. So that's my relationship with music. Now, I'm going to go ahead and music is a great form of expression, even if you're not producing it, just to have something to relate to can be freeing. Yeah, exactly. It's like a treasure hunt, right? Anyway, so, there's a lot of you here. Welcome. I'm going to start reading the submissions in a second here, and then I'll unmute so that I can start talking with Shadow here. I think showed up. But before I do that, remember, guys, because I'm really bad at doing this, so I have to, like, when I remember, I have to, like, do it then and there. Remember, guys, Patreon. Support my work. It is just the streaming. It's also the YouTube videos. It's the server. It's the coaching group thing I do. It's a bunch of stuff. And just all the bullshit networking I have to do just to get people to listen to me, to hopefully get them on or talk to them. Some people are a lot easier than others to get on. Some people just will string me along for like a year and a half. Anyway, so yeah, support Patreon, PayPal, and if you're interested in the support group, the Schizoid that I do with Joanna, please, say you look at it and you're like, oh man, it's like $400 for 8 sessions, hour and a half each, and they're gonna do all this stuff, but you're like kind of on the border. You're kind of like, is this for me? Like, if you have questions about it and what it is we do in it, you can go ahead and DM me on Discord. Or on Twitter, X, mind you now, right? Okay, let's move on over here. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff, and there we go. Hey, Shadow, how's it going? Shadow, are you there? Oh, Shadow, where art thou?
Oh, I was muted. Hello.
Hey, Shadow. Good morning.
Stop asking me how I'm doing. I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, how are you doing?
I'm gonna turn you into a bowling ball.
Oh my, where will you be putting your fingers? Anyway, let me see here.
In your eye sockets.
Well, you need 3 holes. Oh, my eye socket to my mouth. That works. All right.
But like I'm gonna use a glove so I don't touch you directly.
No.
Because that's gross.
Yeah, it would be pretty disgusting. I agree. Okay, so let me see here. I'm gonna get the submissions out here, and I'm gonna start going over them. So, what are your thoughts before I go into all that? Do you wanna give a little bit of shout out to music?
I mean, I usually use music as a way to activate my more like abstract part of myself. Like a lot of music, you know that thing when you see, and gets into more like trauma territory. You know when you see a reminder and it kind of like completely changes your mood and personality?
Yeah, of course.
Or is that just me?
I mean, like a reminder of something, like a
Like
concept or idea that fucks with you.
Like capital R reminder, right?
Yeah, I know.
Like a lot of music does that for me. Like a lot of violin, a lot of piano, a lot of very serious music. It completely changes like and this is kind of hard to believe, but I kind of have like a naturally jovial personality. Just kind of like more like naive innocence, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very, very often tempered by, and I guess I don't really have a better way to explain it besides just trauma.
Yeah.
And just negative experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
But music completely changes, like, flips me from naive innocent to like I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah,
but it's almost to the
parts in there, right?
It's almost like to the degree that it's split personality. I've had that for a very long time. I'm not going to say it's literally that, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah, well, it's a compartmentalized part of yourself that you can actually gain access to with music, right?
Yeah, it completely switches up my attention, my focus.
Gotcha.
My ability to what's the word I'm looking for? My ability to like manage in like society and like think. I don't know. It does a lot.
Almost certainly does.
It's like it's hard not to like it because it helps me manage like with people and society, just with everything, right? It like trauma gives me the type of personality that can deal with life when I otherwise can't. So it's really toxic because like you start liking trauma. It's really weird.
I don't know about liking it, but I think I know what you mean. I mean, I think the word you're looking for might not be like, but it's familiar.
But like it gets familiar, it gets comfortable, but it changes my personality into something that can deal with life. And it's like the personality it changes me into is like I've like romanticized into being the person that I want to be.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's like it's not that I like trauma, but I like what it does.
Which
to
is
me.
A warrior vibe. That's what Trudy says. Gives you a warrior vibe.
Yeah.
Is it that like the meme, the one that has the Jesus and the guy just on the other side of the Wojak that's all like covered in blood and screaming, saying like, "Give me stronger battles," and Jesus is just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Kinda.
You know, like he's just like, yeah, it's that inner berserker. Yeah, I get it. I get it for
because
sure.
then you get into the whole cherophobia thing. Then it's just like I'm afraid to like not be traumatized because then I like go back to my jovial nature, and then it gets all kinds of like messed up and
it sounds like your goal is to somehow fucking merge those two without it causing you
I think
internal
right
disaster.
So whether it's a split personality or not, it's like delusional prone and all that, so it essentially is in a sense.
Oh All right.
But I've had that kind of like suspicion for as far back as 6 years old.
My,
You know, the kind of like other being in your head,
yeah, like that you have some kind of like
like guardian
compartmentalized part of
angel
yourself
demon
as a
thing.
separate. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You always gave it a name, like you always like, well, you gave it like you made it its own entity, right, for years.
Yeah, I didn't give it a name on purpose, but
Yeah,
it
because
is
you don't
like
want to acknowledge it
its
too
own
much, right?
entity. No, I don't give it a name because I feel like that's how do I explain it? It's like giving it a name just makes it just a fantasy daydream. But not giving it a name gives it a sort of serious tone that like I'm not doing it to play around. I'm doing it because that's literally what my brain is forcing me to do.
It's really interesting because like it just goes to show like even something like say some kind of trauma or some kind of issue in which somebody develops like a sort of compartmentalized parts of the self, like even that approach, even the way the relationship they have with those types of things is going to be very different based on like other types of cognitive features of the person, you know what I mean? Like maybe a more autistic approach towards something like that developing is a bit more clinical, and you kind of are very clinical about it. You don't like, you kind of like, what's the word, you like to break it down and try to figure it out like it's something you can take apart and look at all the gears, and you're
But yeah,
trying to
no
find all the
shit, I'm
pieces.
autistic.
Yeah, I
That's how I
know, that's
work.
what's interesting though. No, but that's what's interesting is you do it with something like trauma,
I
so
guess.
and the type of stuff that can come from it. Like it just like basically what I'm saying is that like even something like mental illness, when a person that's autistic has mental illness, they're going to approach it in their autistic way, even their own mental illness.
Hmm.
I just find that really really fascinating, right? Um, but in any case, I'm going to get started on these because there's people waiting for probably for me to actually get started on reading these. Let me see here. I got, ooh, look at that. I got quite a few here today. I'm surprised. It's because it's Saturday. All right, let's get going. Okay, first one here. Dear Angst, I have a collection of over 800 MP3s, but only really listen to them on public transit or working out. It's not something I engage with on a regular basis, but sometimes I will go days listening to some fixation. One of the semi-reliable media that can evoke emotional response from me. Music, I tend to lean towards are ones that have interesting or unusual features, polyrhythms, pauses, change in genre. And then they posted, and I had told them to, and you know, none of my, none of my streams ever get monetized, so I don't really care if they say, oh, you can't monetize your stream because you played the songs or whatever. So let me pause this, and some people had actually put an example of something they like, so this is from that person that I just read. Something that they said their current fixation at the moment. Ignite the drive in your soul. It's calling you. A little bit. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, I can see what they mean. It's funny because like I like the song. It's by Molly Daisy Scarpine. It's a song called Extras. I don't know. All I know is that it has a some kind of anime girl holding a microphone on the cover, wearing like thigh highs with spikes on it. And it kind of it's funny. The reason I say that's amusing because it kind of the musical stylings and not so much if it were like just instrumental. It reminds me of something I would hear on Guilty Gear. If you ever played those Guilty Gear video games, they have like the best music, and it's always just like kind of bordering on like power metal-y contemporary stuff, like mixed with just like a bunch of solos and like a bunch of like just very very heavy, very fast-paced music because it's for a fighting game. And if you ever played Guilty Gear, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just always very fast-paced, very very quick instrumentation type stuff. So, and let's see here. Yeah, so it gave me kind of that vibe. I don't know why. It gave me the Guilty Gear vibe.
Tell you what, a lot of things anime do really good with violin and piano. And like playing Kingdom Hearts as like from such an early age has always had given that fascination with those two instruments. So music that encapsulate that with
Yeah.
and kind of Square Enix, Kingdom Hearts kind of anime, pretty much.
Oh, it's a shonen. I'm not gonna believe otherwise. It's just a shonen. It's
The art style is a little like atypical for an anime, but it's essentially an
Yeah. No, I mean if you notice, that's why I'm a weeb, because like a lot of the shonens and stuff, and a lot of just anime that's a seinen and shit, they always have like heavy metal, a lot of times as like their introductory music. It'll be like a bunch of heavy metal. It'll be like a very like higher budget AMV essentially with unique animations they created specifically to convey the music. So it's really interesting. That's one thing I really like about anime intros is that it's like, okay, we're animating this to coincide with the vibes of the music. So it's essentially a music video. I don't know too many I don't know that too many other mediums do that because a lot of shows have intros and they have music and everything else, but I don't know that they put as much effort, I feel, as anime intros seem to. Like they just like they go
I
balls
don't
to
know
the
about
wall.
intros, but there's a couple different examples I can say
Even the
where they
credits.
no, but it's like they remix like a very well-known song,
Mhm.
and it's like, but it has like a very powerful effect. Like I've seen a video just recently about, I forget what even the song was, but I know it's like really popular. But they remixed it, and it was from Stranger Things in one of the new seasons,
Mhm.
and like a very critical moment, and it definitely made the moment way better.
Editing
And
is
then
very important.
and then there was the Deadpool one. Like, wasn't it Take on Me?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wasn't it that one? But it was like way
Yeah,
different because it
yeah.
was a very intimate moment with his wife.
Yeah.
And it completely changed the song, it changed the scene.
Yeah, that's why visuals are important to me, especially when they coincide like that. Hey, look, Gunny told me. Oh, look at that. Woke up in time to tell you that it is a Guilty Gear song. Look at that. I just never heard it. That's hilarious. It's probably from like the new Guilty Gears, and I haven't really played the new ones that much. So I called it. It's a Guilty Gear song. That's funny. That's really funny because it doesn't say anything about Guilty Gear on here, but I could just tell. Like this sounds like something that is either going to be an anime intro or it's going to be for a fighting game, and it's going to be playing in the background while you're like fucking trying to combo the other person and fight and shit. So that's interesting. Somebody else in the chat also said something that's rings very true. I think it was was it on the Twitch or the YouTube one? It was on the YouTube. Yeah. Don said, it pulls music. I'm guessing that's what I'm referring to. It can pull you out from shutdown into anger fueled survival mode. Yeah, that's what's interesting. Or just survival mode. It doesn't even have to be anger fueled. It depends on. In my case, it probably is. But yeah, it can pull. It can get a depression. If you listen to the right music, it can soothe a depression, or it could turn the depression into anger and maybe confidence, or just like outrage.
Or let you at least feel the sadness from depression instead of
Yeah,
numbness.
exactly. And then like maybe something cathartic can come from it.
Like
Always.
maybe like you're trying like you're numb, right? But you don't know why you're numb, and then you sort out, okay, this is why I'm numb. Maybe I
Hmm.
was emotionally manipulated by people, but I keep trying to deny that they were manipulating me. And then this kind of gives you the means to, well, if I feel like this, maybe something's up, and then kind of question the nature of where you're at.
I would say yeah, I vibe with that because like in my case there was times in my youth where being someone that's developed this schizoid stuff, everything was all about autonomy, right? Everything was autonomy at all times, and prioritizing that. And so, even admitting to myself that somebody else successfully manipulated me was something that I had trouble accepting, because then that would be me admitting that I somebody was basically took control of me in some way, and I didn't think about it like that. I just know that it made me uncomfortable, so very uncomfortable to think about it like that. So I would just brush it off as like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. Why think about it and stuff like that? Because I think I was so uncomfortable with the idea of being successfully manipulated by somebody. Let me see here. So let's go to the next one here. I just think that's hilarious that I called it on the guilty gear. It's fucking funny. Is it from the new ones, Gunny? Is it from like the latest guilty gears? I'm guessing. I want to know what it's from now. I don't know if they're still here. I don't know. If it is, tell me which one. Man, if that's just one of the fighting game tracks, oof, yeah, you're gonna have some good time on Guilty Gear. All right, next up here. Dear Angst, music is a very immersive thing for me. I can tend to be completely consumed by it, which is generally a good thing. Sometimes songs have emotional content for me, but I usually never use them intentionally in that way. I never think to seek out songs to express or feel something specific, even though in practice that is maybe a good idea. The main thing for me about the music, I think, is that it feels very kinesthetic experience. Feels like a very kinesthetic experience. Everything in the song feels like a kind of movement with varying weight and intensity. It can spiral or wave back or rise or fall, be light and airy or heavy and immense. But if I'm really into the song, then it's all about feeling the movement and mass it creates and being that movement with it. I've never really thought about it before or told anyone, so I'm not sure if that's either going to make sense and is very normal, or if no one's going to have if no one's going to have any idea what the hell I'm talking about. Hopefully, the responses can clue me in. Well, I know absolutely what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know what it means to be consumed. I listen to Carpenter Brut.
yeah, yeah. You get. Oh, that's the kind of shit. I'll just. Oh yeah, for sure it would. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Fucking
that's
love
true.
that shit.
Yeah, that's some consuming shit. Um,
Like dark metal synth. Oh, love it.
yeah, yeah. But like it lets you. I feel like it lets you get lost in specific parts of your own personality for a temporary moment, and it's a safe way to do it because it's controlled by you.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to me that a lot of schizoids are very much into various kinds of music because of that reason. It's like a somewhat safe, controlled environment in your head for you to explore maybe the more difficult or darker parts of your psyche in a way that you have power over it, you control it. It's not taking over you, so you're allowing this temporary medium of consumption, of being consumed by some feeling or emotion, and then you could shut it down whenever you decide. So by turning off the music, turning off the feelings. um
I don't have a problem with the whole feeling like because it feels like I'm consuming myself, right? I have a very solipsism, whatever word you want to say, way of looking at things, right? So if I'm being manipulated by someone else, it's like I kind of feel like I'm allowing it to happen. Then I can just simply choose not to let it happen.
well, that's kind of what I mean, like, because that's when you start, like, it, well, at least in my case, that's when I self hate, because I hate myself for being so easily manipulated, or I made a foolish decision, so it's my fault that this person did this to me because I should have been more aware.
Oh, okay.
I should have been more capable and aware and cautious, and I'm a fool. And so, yeah, it was kind of thoughts like that. And so those thoughts were like the painful thoughts for me. So then music would allow me to blame them, right? Like it would let me find the animosity inside me to go, no, fuck you did this, right? And that was a way
Yeah, yep.
of helping me deal with the kind of self hate I was kind of shielding myself from, right? Because I knew I failed, I did it, I'm the fool, and it hurt too much to feel that vulnerable about myself to myself. So, um, but let me see here. But yes, I absolutely understand that feeling of the weight and intensity of the music itself, or getting lost in the emotionality of the music. And even if you don't have that particular emotion, that's another way that's really interesting. I think I used to do a lot of it, which is like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this and I'm gonna let it take me to the headspace that it does. I'm gonna allow it to, because it's kind of interesting, right? To think of also music being like a partner that you can be emotionally vulnerable to, and it's safe, right? It's safe to be vulnerable to music because it's not a person. It has the emotions and the discomfort sometimes they bring up that a person could, but people are dangerous, right? In the schizoid mind, people are disappointing, dangerous, insincere, so on and so forth. And but music can't help but be sincere, even if it's being created by insincere people. Right? It either vibes or doesn't, and I think it's far more apparent that way. I don't know. I'm just rambling, but I think I know what you mean. All right, next up. Dear Angst, music to me is mostly a way to block people out. That's a good one. I put headphones on when there are conversations at the office that don't involve me. I let music play loud as a noise shield when I have a remote therapy session and there's someone else at home. Okay. Sometimes I listen to some music for other purposes, like, for example, to help me focus on a task. The best music for this is usually just some soundtrack from an action video game I haven't played. It's interesting. One that you have not played. Oh, it's interesting that they specified that. Another purpose to play music is to make myself dance, which almost sometimes makes me cry, which is good for therapy reasons. For this purpose, I have collected a random bunch of favorite songs that have accumulated in the playlist over the years, mostly for specific emotional content in the lyrics, but I haven't done that in quite a while. That's really interesting, right? Maybe I can see why something like dancing, right? Maybe it's something you don't normally do. And so when you do it, it makes you feel your body, maybe. It makes you feel more grounded into whatever's going on inside your brain and body. And so maybe that's a good reason for, well, a way to sort of outwardly express some sorrow or something damaging. Um, yeah, it's just that's what's funny to me, right? Music evokes feelings. Dancing is a almost flailing around in a weird way of trying to make those feelings real, tangible, right? To express them with the physical body you possess. Good night, baby. Get some rest.
Happy get
All right. Night night. Night night. Sorry, my little one. And so yeah. So I always found dancing interesting like that. It's kind of why I don't really like, and I know, like, my wife loves this stuff, and I understand why it's really cool and interesting and so on and so forth, and I can understand the art of it, right? But that's kind of why I've never been like a huge fan of choreographed dance numbers. I don't personally find them that interesting. I have to like put myself in a headspace of like, wow, this is like very athletic and technically complex, and oh wow, that's like really impressive. Like that's
I
kind
don't care for dancing in like any capacity
of
whatsoever.
well, okay. So you know, good. Now I have to hear your opinion on it. So, but I just like regular dancing, just people dancing or people at a concert moshing and dancing. Like it's kind of like to me, it's like a desperate clawing at the dirt while you're trapped in a coffin. I know it's a little grim the way I'm putting it, but that's kind of like
Pretty grim
it's
person.
yeah, but it's just this kind of like you're just flailing your body around, right? You're going with the music, but it's just like you're trying to physically manifest the the emotions or thoughts or feelings that that song or the music is evoking. I find that really interesting. What does it say? I just like the caveman I in their cave alone losing it. Yeah, like a caveman. Yeah, like he's hitting like fucking it's no different. And that's why I understand when like, you know, when you have something like a cult or tribal or whatever, you have the beating of the drums, right? And then the people just like you know, just losing themselves in it and then allowing their body to sort of move in some kind of somewhat controlled, kind of uncontrolled way. um, yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. dancing, dancing. Not choreographed dancing is cool for a different reason. I'm not that into it, but just the act of dancing is really, really cool. I don't dance either, but put on some Tangerine Dream, my body starts moving without me. Right there, you go, Don.
You know what's similar to what I think you're trying to describe for me? I don't care for dancing because it doesn't like change how I like visually. It doesn't do anything for me. But in a similar kind of way, rapping would like a good rapper would be similar to dancing, right? Like kind of like a
Hmm.
freestyle rap.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
need like a sound. I need like oomph, you know. I can't just watch someone
Oh
dance
yeah,
because that
it's a
doesn't have
similar
any
type
weight
of
to me.
thing. It's somewhat
But
well,
I think I get what you mean if I understand it from that context.
it's someone like it's somewhat it's similar like even something like freestyle is similar. It's like chaos but at the same time controlled. It's like a controlled sort of chaos type thing. And and it's partially just intuitive. It's just an intuitive thing that's happening in front of you, right? You're not like pre-thinking about like how you're gonna move your body really, unless it's like I said, it's like a dance. It's like set. That's why I never liked a lot of those dances from the 40s. I always thought that shit was stupid as fuck. Where it's like, oh, everyone has to do the twist. You know, it's like, shut up. That's why something like I don't understand stuff like square dancing. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to do specific moves. That's stupid. Um, and uh, and so like I like dancing where it's like you're not thinking, you're just doing. That's why it's really interesting when you have something like a contemporary sort of dancer that is just doing a number for the song on the fly. Like I that's like some of those shows where they do like, you know, the dancing shows or whatever. The only segments I ever found like really interesting to watch were the ones where it's like, okay, the song's going to be played and you dance to the song, and it isn't, you just dance how it feels but also at the same time show us your capabilities. And that's interesting to me, where they try to lose themselves in the music but at the same time, because they have the athleticism to express the emotion in a more graceful way, they do. And so that's interesting to me. Choreographed stuff is not, because it's being thought out. It's not. It's structured. It's, you know, that's just not my cup of tea.
would it be more so you like honest self expression than you would like because like choreograph could work, I think, for you if you understood that the person themselves made it and it is entirely of their own freedom of expression.
That's pretty interesting, right? I mean,
That would be different.
that would be kind of different, but it's still it's like it's
Like, do you like the chaos or do you like the self expression? Like,
I
do you like the
like
story that's being told?
when it comes to dancing, I like I find it. I'm not saying I don't like, you know, like obviously because I listen to music all the time, and I listen to But what's interesting is that like I don't listen to too many. I've never been that into, and sometimes I am. It just depends. But like I've never been all that into like live concerts because it unless the musician is really good at like losing themselves in their own music, because it often feels like a little too canned because it's like, oh, they're on tour, they're just going through the motions, you know. This is the song we sing now, we're singing the song, right? And a lot of the times the stuff you get like on the original mixes or whatever on the, you know, I feel like they can be a little bit more potent just because unless the studio fucking fucks with it too much, they studio it up too much. But it's like the initial like where they really put as much as they could into it because they're like, okay, I have to fucking, this is gonna be what this song is. It's being recorded. This is the cut. This is the song. So they just go like, bah, right? And but with live, it's like it feels like they're doing work. If that makes sense, like it feels like that's their job to go on tour. It's like that's the job. It's not. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not a big fan of performance. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no fucking idea. Like when I heard
I think you just don't like grifting. And like you have a hard time understanding it to not be grifting unless it's like more chaotic.
I don't know. I'm fucking weird when it comes to this shit. I have no idea how to put it like that. I love hearing about like ad libbed or like I love finding out that a scene in a film was something that was just not scripted.
Or maybe you're just absurd and you
Yeah.
like absurdism.
Yeah, maybe. But like for example, finding out certain like little things about certain movies where the actor was sort of just adding lines or behaving in the scene in a different way that they were instructed or than that the script but they improved it or they actually made the scene iconic because of their internal decision to just change something that just didn't quite feel right at that moment as they were doing it. Like that's really interesting to me. Like there's been so many moments in like film history or whatever where the actor said, fuck it, I'm gonna try it like this, I'm gonna fucking, this feels right, I'm just gonna do it, I'm not telling anybody.
So it really is just that you like absurdism.
I like, it's not absurdism. It's like
Well, like what I'm trying to explain here is that you like the sort of chaotic, like there was no plan to it, everything sucks, but it also is better because it sucks.
yeah. I guess it sounds like you
So
like improvisation. Yeah, I like improvisation.
It's not absurd
because of
as
what
in
it
like
is.
yeah, it's not I'm not undermining what the thing is,
Yeah,
but in a sense I also am undermining it, but that's why it's more enjoyable.
yeah, yeah. I think that's part. One of the reasons that I never got super into, even though I respect it and I can enjoy it in other ways, but as far as like on a more intuitive way, I've never been really into a lot of Shakespeare. And not because it isn't beautifully written, and not because like, I'd rather read Shakespeare than like see it performed, which makes no sense. Because like let's say something like Shakespeare, it's so specific. It has like all this history. It has a specific way of acting the part. Like when somebody goes to see Hamlet, they want to see Hamlet. They're not there to see, you know, they it's like, oh, this is my rendition of Hamlet. This is me. It's like a technical, it's a planned technical thing. Like it's very, very specific to do something like Hamlet. And then when you divert from it, you get a lot of flack, or it becomes like verboten to like divert from what Hamlet is supposed to be. And I could see why that's important, and that's a different kind of importance and value. But it's not what attracts me personally. I like just unplanned things that just occur. So yeah,
So you're against the pill.
Shadow, sometimes your jokes are just so stupid, dude. Anyway, so dumb.
Angst is the more traditional type of
Yeah,
guy. He
I'm a real
doesn't believe
traditional
in.
guy. Yeah,
Anyway, he doesn't believe in Plan B.
yeah. No plans. Unplanned pregnancies for all. Anyway, um, So let me move on to the next one. I went off on a fucking tangent on that one. Holy shit. Okay, next here we got Dear Angst. I have an odd relationship with music. Most music is unbearably boring and shallow. I genuinely wonder how people enjoy it. However, I seek out very novel and unusual music, and occasionally I will find something I obsess over. Usually, this music is complex, chaotic, unpredictable, odd time signatures and harmonies. It's usually less emotional or will emphasize anxiety as opposed to happiness, sadness, etc. Basically, the more chaos, the more I'm able to zone into it. I've been a musician for 20 years, and it's the only thing that will give me any pleasure. Well, alternates, I guess, but I try to write this style of music as well, but I'm insanely good at it because it's really the only thing I do aside from work. Oh, cool. All right. Let's see here. They got something. They got something on here. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. I'll get it going. Just being all slow pokes, magokes. Okay. All right. I'm going to play what they have on here. No, I don't want to sign up. Oh my God. Are you serious?
Come on, Hank, sign up. Subscribe to our email newsletter.
No, it's because it's a Spotify link. I don't have Spotify.
Disable ads to support our website.
No, I don't have Spotify. I can't play it. I don't have Spotify. Well, unless I got it. It's on YouTube.
Spend $1 to read the rest of the article.
Yeah, that was my submission. If you want, I can try to get the YouTube link right quick.
Yeah. Send me the YouTube link because I don't have Spotify.
Which what was the name of the song? I forgot exactly which one it was.
You gave me the grid, I think.
I guess, yeah. I'll grab that link right quick.
Cool. Let's do it.
Sounds like a Tron song.
Oh, because grids?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the grid, right?
Mm.
God, I love...
I know you love
I'm not
Tron.
going to get too deep into it, but
I
God,
know
I fucking love Tron
I
so
know you
much.
love-
Like, the first movie is
No,
cool.
I love the first movie. I think it's great.
But Tron, Legacy, was it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think about that constantly.
Tron's...
I don't think about the actual story. I think about the world.
Yeah. It's a pretty...
Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Existentially terrifying world, though.
God,
All
the
right.
way outside the city looks. Holy fuck!
All right.
I think about
I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play the song. Shut the fuck up, Shadow.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna vibe with it. Sorry. Oh no! Browser! I'll just drop it in the middle here. I think I was right here. Oh my god, the browser took a shit. Good shit. Good shit. That was really, really fun. Like it was kind of funny because like while I was listening to oh shit, that's loud. While I was listening to what was it? It was mostly evoking in me. It was actually making me smile. I don't know why, and that's probably because it's kind of like what I was talking about. Um, there was like so many times like you can't even how do I put this? It's very difficult in some parts to even like be able to find any kind like you couldn't like I can't bob my head to that music. I cannot bob my head to it. Like I can like fingers. It would need my fingers. I need my fingers for that one. Um, it's it feels like this, and there's just no. I can't bob my head fast enough to keep up with what is happening with it. So yeah, that was really good shit. You said this is yours?
Yeah, wait, yeah, that's the one that mine as in did I write it? No, that
Oh,
I
I
wish.
thought you meant this. I was like, God damn. Like, did you write
No,
this shit? Okay.
that's a guy named Tigran Hamasyan. He's a jazz pianist from Armenia, but
Jesus.
he is a big inspiration in some of the stuff that I've been writing. But what I love about it, like when you were talking about like
Yeah.
not being, like bob your head to it,
Yeah, I can't.
that,
There's no bob, head bob there. That's just
the
it's like
way that
convulsions.
I interpret this music is like the first time I hear it, I'm like, this is a total mind fuck. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. It's just pure chaos. But then I'll listen to it again, and then I'll be like, okay, I think I have like a little bit of a pattern here, and I'll listen to it like again and again. And the more I do, the more I'm like, okay, I think I've figured out the time signature.
Mhm.
I think I figured out like what the rhythmic patterns are and how the music, the instruments are like communicating with each other.
Yeah.
And that process of understanding what is going on, it's like relaxing, like because it goes from like being like total chaos at the start,
Yeah.
but like once I have an idea of like exactly what's going on, it's like solving a puzzle, and
Yeah.
once like I have the puzzle solved, like it's weirdly like relaxing. It's really hard to
No, no, I
describe.
get what you're describing. I get it. Like it's really funny too because like I feel the opposite way in that and it just goes to show like where people are comfortable. Like for example, I think part of the reason I was never really all that interested in learning how music works, right? Like the mechanics of it because I don't want the chaos to ever go away. I want the chaos to always be there. I want to not know how this was made.
That's
I
fair.
huh?
I said that's totally fair.
I'm the
Uh,
complete opposite.
I don't. Yeah. Well, are you like him or are you like me?
Well, no, I meant like understanding the thing, like almost like gives it more of like appreciating the beauty of it.
No, no. I appreciate the beauty of not knowing. I like it to remain unknown. Like I
Okay,
just
but this is literally just schizo versus autist, right?
yeah, yeah, might be. But like but I don't know, it's just like if I knew how all those instruments worked, right? And I could just sit there and go, "Oh, okay, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing." Like I'd be really bored doing that. I wouldn't want to do that. I don't care. Like I don't I don't care. Like I don't care about how people make their art. Like you know, like those people that like, oh, if I really like an artist, I don't go like, oh, I'm gonna go watch one of those technical video on how they like do the work. Like I don't even watch. I almost never, very rarely, do I ever watch like behind the scenes on films I watch or any of that. Right. And if I do, it's usually because I'm interested in the response, maybe the history, maybe what they talk about the inspiration of it. But I never really care about knowing the full process of an artist. I don't give a shit. Like you know, an
I
artist is
think it also matters to me because like if I understood better the way like the instrument they were playing works, I like also viscerally imagine playing that same instrument because of the whole hyperphantasia stuff.
yeah, okay. I can see that. I just that's actually a good point because like I never had that fantasy, right? Like whenever I would hear music, I never as a kid, as a teenager, I never had the fantasy of being a musician and like being on stage or any of that. But I always had the only one I don't know, that's why I like lyrics and vocalizations, but I always just liked imagining settings for the music instead of the fantasy of performing.
Mhm.
So like it doesn't matter to me. Like I don't need to put myself in those shoes. I don't want to. I just I want what the music gives, what the music creates, the picture it's painting. And that's it. I don't need it's kind of like when I see
Yeah, we're both doing the same thing, but just from literally the opposite end.
yeah, yeah, like when I see something really
like
incredibly beautifully drawn, I just go, that thing is beautiful. I love looking at this. And if somebody's
well,
like, "Oh, do you want to know the process?" No.
Well, because like I imagine the weight of a brushstroke. That's how I
I don't
see the
want
beauty
to.
of it.
I could,
But
but I don't
I
care.
do, right? Like
Yeah,
that's my immediate like thought.
for
that's
me,
so
it's like
interesting.
I'm trying to understand like what they're trying to communicate or like what they're trying to say with it, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I do that with lyrics. And I can do that. No, I do that with music too, but I just kind of like I like to just pick it out of the air. And just because I mean for me that's what art is, right? They don't most artists I don't know. It depends on the artist. Some artists are like, "Oh, this is what I'm trying to evoke specifically, right? In the people that are listening." And then some artists are more like, "Oh, don't worry about what I think about this. This is for you. This is for the people listening. You interpret it however you want." And so they never actually explain their music, right? There's artists that never explain it because it kind of goes against what it is they're trying to create or do, right? Trying to create, maybe tap into a universal feeling of some kind or a concept or idea. Um, so like for example, like that song we just heard, right? It was really really cool. I could pop so many ideas in my head about what this could be about, what setting could be. Yeah, but if I like if the artist, which I'm guessing they just said, oh, it's just about a squirrel in its daily life. a squirrel.
Like, what was that one Beatles song?
I don't know
Like
this.
the Pink something?
I don't. I don't.
Or is it Yellow Submarine?
The Yellow Submarine. Yeah.
Is that the one where they wanted to, where they made it
Da,
specifically to
da.
piss off people that overinterpreted shit, or like their manager or something?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because people kept, digging into their songs because they were about drugs, they were about this, they were about that. So, and they're even in their own time, the Beatles were controversial, but especially their later albums. Um, but yeah. Anyway, it's just I don't know. It's just interesting. I like that it's so complex that we all approach it in so many. We can find catharsis in it in so many varying ways, right? And in complete opposite ways, which is kind of amazing. Um. Anyway, let me get to the next one here. Thanks a lot for that one. Let's see here. First time, dear Inks, first time answering. This turned out to be kind of a loaded question for me. Not in a negative way. It's just been on my mind for a while. I've been ruminating on the question, and I guess the short response would be my on music and off music is eclectic as hell. My on and off. Oh yeah, I'll just keep going. Growing up, I actually kind of hated music because I grew up with multiple siblings who would dominate the TV every Saturday morning to watch Rage on the ABC. This was back in the 90s, and that continued up until my teenage years. By that point, I was an angsty metalhead. I even went through a black metal phase. Oh, that phase will never end for me. Um, but throughout all my life, my musical tastes have been just utterly random. I'll get obsessed with a handful of songs, listen to them again and again, or actively focus on certain genres. Just off the top of my head, I've been into metal, synthwave, video game soundtracks, Italian horror movie soundtracks. Hell yeah, those are awesome. And every country hip hop, Cowboy Troy present. My current thing is covers of songs that change up the vibe of the original song. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I always found this kind of interesting too, like where they just change the instruments, the pacing, and what was maybe a happy song now sounds menacing. That's often pretty fun. I think that's kind of partially what you were saying, Shadow, is when something gets altered. Um,
Yeah.
I saw somebody do that. You know what show did that recently? And I was like, what the fuck? It was like it was just a trip because it was like, how the hell did you try? Like, how the hell did you make this song sound menacing because of the like the situation? It was and it's a very good show, but the latest season of Fargo was very very fucking good. And there's oh man, I can't remember the song. It was like a pop song that they slowed down and they made just a bit more menacing because of the scene and the music. And it was like, what the fuck, this is like a happy pop song from like the like or R&B song. I can't remember. I think it was like R&B song from like the late 90s or something. And they made it sound menacing. And I'm like, that's with the lyrics unchanged and everything. But considering the context of the situation and the show, what's occurring and what's leading up to, then it's menacing. It's amusing. Let me see here. Oh, let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, you gave me something else there. Um, what's it called? Sorry. Leviticus. You gave me something else on there, huh? I'm actually a really big fan of Porcupine Tree. Just so you know, like I love Porcupine Tree. So. Yes, I'm a big fan of Porcupine Tree, and and also Pain of Salvation, stuff like that's always been like
Penis Salvation? What?
Pain of Salvation. It's like one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, penis. What?
Pain of
Really?
Salvation.
It's not what you said the first two times.
I didn't say Penis Salvation. Pain of Salvation.
Yeah, but you keep saying it so fast. That's what it sounds
Okay,
like.
penis. Yeah, guys, I love Penis Salvation. No, even better, Penis Salivation.
When my mom stops the Jewish doctor,
Penis
penis
Salvation.
salvation.
Penis Salivation.
No,
Anyway.
okay, no. Now you're ruining it.
No, it's funny. Salivation. Anyway.
No. Now it's gone.
Well, okay. It's gone? Good. Let's see here. All right, next one. I have two more. And it's almost 8:30. That's when I like to end. Let's see here. Dear Inks, one way I've used music as a tool for short exposure therapy. Basically, whenever I would drive somewhere, I would blast whatever music I was with the windows down. At first, this caused a great deal of anxiety and shame. I would imagine that everyone around me is judging me extremely harshly and hates me. I would sit with this feeling and remind myself that it's just a feeling in my body and that I can't read anyone else's mind. And I would focus on the fact that nothing bad is happening. No one is honking at me or behaving aggressively, etc. People just don't care. Over time, the bad feelings lessen. Now I don't care if anyone hears my music. Doing this helped me to reclaim my right to exist in this world, my right to be seen and heard, and has helped lessen the fear that becoming an object in another subjectivity is going to somehow instantly obliterate me or make me something terrible happen. Maybe I'm just being annoying or an asshole or something, but I have the divine right to break the unspoken social rules in a small and unharmful ways. Yeah, hell yeah, you do. Sitting, I don't know about divine, but yeah, I very much condone it. Sitting with other cars at a red light, blasting music used to make me extremely self-conscious and uncomfortable, but now my attitude is mostly, oh, you don't like my experimental hyperpop? You don't like symphonic death metal? Sounds like you have a problem, bud. In contrast to this, when I was a kid and my parents drove me anywhere, I was always terrified that they could hear my music leaking out of my headphones. I would do things like
Oh,
decrease the volume
same.
whenever we came to a red light or stop sign because I was afraid that the sound of the engine becoming quieter would allow my music to be heard. Ooh, that,
Ooh, yeah. Any kind of self-expression leaking into other people's ears or eyes or perceptions.
ooh, no,
Ugh,
no, big no, no,
icky,
huh? Big
icky,
icky,
very icky. No good.
no icky, good, bad, 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 big
But
bads.
yeah, the paranoia with the music leaking out whenever things got quiet. Oh, constantly.
I don't know that I don't know. I only had that issue because it wasn't because of what you might be feeling or what this person is saying. In my case, it was because I was always doing things, reading things, watching things, and listening to things that I know my parents didn't want me to, and I refused to give them up, and so I would be very cautious about what I presented to them as far as like what I enjoyed or liked, or I would actually lean into my own parents' ignorance of stuff in order to work around it. So, it would just be like, oh yeah, like I would like lie about what a video game's about, or I would lie about what a book's about. So, like I'd be reading like my mom, she didn't know shit about Stephen King. And so I'm sitting there reading, I don't know, The Shining or Tommy Knockers or something. That shit's full of sex and violence, Tommy Knockers especially. And I'm reading it, and then she's like, "What is that book about?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's about space aliens." And I'm not lying because Tommy Knockers kind of is, but I'm like, "Oh, it's about aliens and how they're invading and just alien invasion sci-fi stuff." And she'd be like, "Oh, okay." And like, meanwhile, I'm reading about like God knows what stuff I probably can't even talk about on here. So, but in any case, yeah, I got one more here at the bottom. Dear Angst, I like powerful music, mostly electronic. I do not want trance, calm, or vibe. I don't need music for that. I want something that pulls me in and forces me to feel something, which can be any genre, but never sad music that begs you to cry and wallow in your misery. Oh, that's so much fun. But no, I don't. I don't know. Like if I hear a song, I don't know that I've ever heard a song that's begging me to cry. That's interesting. That's an interesting way to put it. I could tell a song's supposed to be very very sorrowful, but if I don't know, I could appreciate the attempt, I guess. Though it generally doesn't work, at least not in my case. But there's definitely some that can do it. Like I mentioned before to other people. I think I mentioned on streams before. It's a rather popular, very probably at this point overplayed song that always I can't like it's just like I can't help but it actually evokes something, right, every fucking time. And oh, shit. And that's a lot of Max Richter's work. Oof, that was loud. Forgot I had the browser on. You guys can hear all that. But yeah, it's Max. Was it Max Richter? Yeah, in The Nature of Daylight. It's been overused in film probably at this point, but Nature of Daylight, oh, just it kills me every fucking time. Like I can't deal with that goddamn song. And the music video, the official music video for it, it fucking kills me. I'll link it to you guys in the chat and stuff. This shit fucking kills me. I cannot deal, folks. You know what song I'm talking about, right, Shadow?
Nine Inch Nails?
No, In the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter, and the music video connected to it.
I've never fucking heard of that in my
Oh
life.
man, I'll show you.
None of those words mean anything to me.
I'll show you after this, man. I might have to like go do something while it plays or whatever, because I do not do well with this song and with that video. Let me see here, but
I finally just got into the diver service, so I'm gonna be doing that.
there we go. All right, for those in chat, check it out. You probably heard the song in a movie or something. Fuck that. Just listen to the song in its completion. The video is, in my opinion, fucking genius. They used it in that one decent movie with the aliens. What was it called? Arrival, I think it was. Yeah, it was used pretty.
Oh, that
effectively.
movie?
Yeah, Arrival had that song in it. You like that movie, Arrival? It's a good movie.
No, I somewhat remember it. I watched it in science class in fucking school.
Yeah, Arrival's a cool movie. It has a stupid. I don't like the ending. The ending pisses me off because it makes me like really dislike the protagonist and the decisions that they made. But because there's so many other ways it could have been handled. Like it's so fucking ridiculous. But anyway, beyond that, it's an interesting film, and but that music video I just posted is really really good. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. Wow, a significant audience today, which I think at its highest it was like 31 people between the both. So
31 between the both? Holy shit.
yeah, I had like 31 at one point because there was like 17 on YouTube and almost like 10. Yeah, it was like 17 on YouTube and like 10 on
Damn,
Twitch for a
YouTube's
sec.
way better than Twitch.
Oh, well, it's because I have way more. Did my submission not go through? What? Oh, maybe it didn't. Hold on, let me check.
Hold on, he's ADHD. You might have missed it.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Okay, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. No, it doesn't look like it did. The only time I know that happens, and apologies for that, is when it's too long, and I think there's like some kind of weird word limit, maybe with the bot that like transfers it over. But I've seen some pretty lengthy ones on here, so I don't know if it was that. If anybody, guys, if any of you ever submit something for me and it doesn't get read or caught, like by the system we have in place, the bot we have in place, please notify me. Please either put it in channel commentary or just DM me. And I'd really like to know that, because if that's happening, that can't be happening. That's not good. So hopefully, not that I want it to be, but hopefully it was a mistake on your part, not the system, because that would suck if I'm missing stuff. Because guess what? Most Zoids ain't gonna fucking say shit. They're just gonna be like, oh, I guess mine didn't work. Oh, well. And then that's it. And I'm gonna be like sitting there like not knowing, because they're never going to tell me, and then they're never going to submit anything again because they think it's not going to show up, and it sucks, and that's not what I want. So please DM me, contact me. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here and listening, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. But seriously, PayPal, Patreon, all that stuff's really useful. Things like super chats on YouTube, not so good because they take forever to fucking pay anything out. Twitch bits and Twitch subscriptions, really helpful. Twitch is just easier. They pay you on the 16th, every 16th. So, and every little bit counts, every little bit helps. But what would really help is for anybody that's interested to check out the Schizoid and the link that I had posted for that. All right, earlier in the stream. All right, guys. As usual, when day is dark, always remember